The Enfield Poltergeist, Britain's most terrifying haunting. The Enfield Poltergeist is not just another ghost story. It is considered the most chilling and well-documented case of supernatural activity in modern British history. It began in the late summer of 1977 in a modest council house on Green Street, Enfield, a working-class suburb in North London. The Hodgson family, single mother Peggy and her 4 children, Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and Billy, were living a quiet life. Until one night, everything changed. It started with knocking sounds. At first faint, like creaks or settling wood, but soon they became louder, more deliberate, as if someone or something was knocking from inside the walls. On the evening of August 31st, Peggy heard her daughters screaming. She ran upstairs and found a heavy chest of drawers slowly sliding across the floor, seemingly on its own. She pushed it back, only to watch in horror as it moved again. It felt purposeful, as if the furniture itself was alive. From that moment on, their home became a nightmare. The lights flickered without cause. Cold spots appeared and vanished. Toys were thrown across rooms. Doors slammed with no one near them. And the strange knocking, it never stopped. At all hours of the day and night, the sounds echoed through the house. What made the case truly terrifying wasn't just the physical disturbances, but the focus of it all. 11-year-old Janet Hodgson. Janet began to speak in a voice that didn't belong to her. A guttural, gravelly tone, deep and aggressive, claiming to be an old man named Bill Wilkins. According to the voice, Bill had died in that very house, in the living room after going blind and suffering a brain hemorrhage. At first, many believed Janet was faking, but then the voice would continue even when her mouth was closed. Witnesses reported seeing Janet's throat move unnaturally, as if the voice were being forced out from somewhere deep inside her. Some believed it was ventriloquism, others that it was something far darker.
Whether you remember what happened to you when you died?
2 days before I died, I went blind. Then I had an hemorrhage, and I fell asleep, and I died in a chair in the corner downstairs.
Why can't Janet feel you?
I'm invisible.
You're invisible? Why are you invisible?
So much you hang out.
But there was more. Janet would levitate. On multiple occasions, she was seen rising off the bed, not simply jumping, but floating, her body rigid and twisted, eyes wide open. Photographs captured her suspended midair, with her limbs outstretched in ways that defied natural movement. Furniture would topple over violently. Curtains twisted into knots. Heavy items flung across the room with invisible force. One police officer swore she saw a chair slide across the floor by itself, and she signed a sworn statement to prove it. Janet once awoke tangled in a curtain on the opposite side of the room from her bed. She had no memory of how she got there. Another night, she was found wedged into a small cupboard, eyes closed, breathing heavily, as if in a trance. Dozens of credible witnesses, including journalists, neighbors, and police, observed the activity firsthand. Among them were Maurice Gross and Guy Leon Playfair, researchers from the Society for Psychical Research. They spent months living with the family, recording over 2,000 hours of audio, taking notes, capturing unexplained noises, and documenting everything from flying marbles to disembodied voices. One tape recording captured Janet speaking in the voice of Bill Wilkins for over 2 hours straight, a feat that should have strained her vocal cords beyond normal capacity, and yet her voice remained intact. Doctors and speech therapists could not explain it. Even more unsettling, Bill's son later confirmed details from the voice that only someone from the family would have known. He verified that his father, Bill Wilkins, had indeed died in that exact house, just as the voice had described. At school, Janet became isolated. Children teased her, and she often fell asleep during class. She would claim that the entity wouldn't let her rest. Her younger brother Billy once told investigators that his toys were talking back to him, and he refused to sleep without the lights on. Skeptics argued it was all a hoax, that Janet, a clever and attention-starved child, was orchestrating everything. But how could she make furniture fly across the room? How could she change her voice so drastically for hours? How did she know personal details about a man who had died years before? And perhaps most chilling of all, why were so many people convinced it was real? After nearly 2 years, the activity faded. Janet was sent away for evaluation. Some say this calmed the spirit. Others believe the poltergeist simply lost interest. But decades later, Janet maintained that what happened was real. In interviews as an adult, she said, "It wasn't just our imagination. It was real. It was terrifying." Her sister Margaret agreed, "We know what we saw. We know what we lived through." To this day, no one can fully explain the Enfield poltergeist. It remains one of the most compelling and disturbing cases in paranormal history. And whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. Something happened on Green Street. Something no one can explain.